Today, we're going to be doing an unboxing of a vintage drum that we're going to restore together. Oh man, so here we go. I was really excited to get this. I got this one off of Reverb for $120 plus free shipping. I'm in California, the seller is in California, so it worked out for the both of us. And as you can see, this thing's definitely seen better days. It's all nickel over brass. Everything's green and just dirty and ugly. So I was pretty excited about this. The drum was in round, which I thought was super cool because the ad said it might not be. Everything looks good. Everything looks pretty much original. There's some add-ons we can talk about as this video progresses. But other than that, I think we're looking awesome. Alright, so as you can plainly see, this is a Ludwig transition badge. It's 5.25 by 14 Pioneer with, like I said earlier, nickel over brass. This thing is really cool. As I was taking this apart, it looks like it has a Slingerland muffler, and the tuning key that it has, I believe, is off of an old vintage Slingerland as well. But I'm gonna clean that all up, restore it, and then put them back on because they're cool. They tell a story. Obviously, this drum was actually used, and not just, I mean, before it was obviously abandoned. Okay, so I'm gonna start taking it all apart. I do like to use these screwdrivers, like lug nut screwdrivers, because they just make taking them off a lot easier, or keeps me from breaking stuff. And as you know, when you take off vintage gear, parts harder, whatever you want to call it, sometimes they do tend to break. So if I can, I use that to remove or to tighten as well. Man, this thing's in pretty bad shape, right? As I always like to mention, please make sure that you have all your parts somewhere to put them in, because you will lose a lot of these little parts, a lot of these little screws, nuts. They will get lost really easily, so make sure that whenever you're taking these apart, you have somewhere to directly place them into. And as you can see, this shell has seen better days, but man, the bones are good, which means we can bring it back to life. And I think you guys will all be surprised by the end of this video. Alright, there's the last lug. Man, these things are bad, right? There's that Slingerland muffler I was telling you about. The cool thing is it doesn't look like it ever even had a muffler, so I'm assuming these were just added on because someone wanted it, which is cool. I'm over there looking at them. I'm not very familiar with Slingerland parts, but I was able to figure that out. So at first I was like, okay, what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to maybe clear coat it and leave it with all the chipped paint and all that, but it was just really, really bad. And as you can see, with the dry spatula, I'm really able to just take it all off with no problem. The little bit of paint that I could not remove, I started using that paint remover and just removed it chemically. I just added a little bit at a time. Here I'm showing you the evaporust, which all my parts are going to go into, so you guys can see the quality of work that evaporust does for me. There you go, dropping them in one at a time. I'm pulling all the guts out of the lugs. That includes the springs and the swivel nuts. I tried to remove the screws from the butt plate, but they were just rusted on, so I just threw it all in there. There it is. As you can see, I'm just putting a little bit of that chemical on top. Now I'm using 2 coats of black primer. I really dig black primer. I think it makes other colors stand out. Here I'm going to start spraying the silver. Once again, 2 coats of the silver, and it'll start looking awesome. Make sure you do this in multiple passes so you don't end up with a paint run. Here I came up with this little thing where I'm using a piece of cardboard just to keep me from overspraying too much. And it actually came out pretty cool. I will be using it and refining the method a little bit. Now I'm doing the bottom. As you can see, it's coming out pretty good. I'm pretty pleased with it. This is my first time trying this, and I thought it came out pretty badass. So there you go. Tell me, what do you think? I think it looks great. Okay, so here I'm using the Quad Zero steel wool to clean everything. Everything sat in the evaporust for 2 days, guys. This stuff was really, really dirty and cruddy. So I'd made sure to give it 2 full days, and you will see at the end how clean it came out. And I'm telling you, man, the evaporust is the way to go. It really makes my life a lot easier when I'm taking on these restoration projects. And there you go. Look at that. Look how clean that looks. not perfect. I don't want it to look perfect, but it's really damn close, right? I mean, look at that throw and that butt plate. Those things were in terrible shape before I started this project. Okay, so here I'm just using soapy water and a paper towel to remove anything that shouldn't be on the shell. Now that that's done, I'm going to start wet sanding. When I wet sand, I start at 1000 and I work my way up to 1500. I sand very lightly. I make sure that I I feel and I use my hand so I can, as I'm doing this, I can feel my way through it to make sure I don't burn through the paint. Because if you burn through the paint, you got to start all over again, and that totally sucks because you just wasted all that labor and paint. So this restoration took me about 4 days. I probably should have let it go 5 or 6 total, just maybe another day, day and a half worth of drying time, because it's just been so miserably hot here in LA that the paint just, some spots weren't as dry as I wish they would have been. But I mean, lesson learned. But as you can see, the drum's going together well and it's looking beautiful, and man, I can't wait to play it. And as you can see by those spots right there, that's where I had the issue. Whenever I put grommets on, I always tape the grommet in place so that when I'm tightening the grommet, it doesn't spin for whatever reason. And I taped it down with blue tape like I normally do, painter's tape, but it took a little bit of paint off. So once again, it is what it is. It's not perfect, but I really dig it. I really like the way it came out. Those are the little spots that I'm going to have to live with. But like I said, all in all, man, I mean, just look at how great the snare drum looks. Once again, guys, if you like what we're doing here at Suavecito Vintage Drums, please like, subscribe, and share our videos with anyone else who you might think digs it. Look at this bad boy. 1960 Ludwig transition badge, WFL parts, and a few Slingerland parts on there just for good measure. And once again, you guys have a great one.